I'm sorry. Okay. Welcome to another Worst to Best. The second one. I asked the people over on my Discord server, plug by the way, link in the description if you want to join our amazing community. But I was asking people in our Discord server what band or group or artist we should cover next for our Worst to Best. And the pretty much unanimous answer was Radiohead. So here we are, doing Radiohead. At the end of the video, I'm going to go over some lists from people in our community and highlight some of their takes and opinions. Radiohead is like one of the most beloved bands of all time, so I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to get murdered for ranking these out, considering how I don't generally agree with the popular consensus. So don't kill me. This is just my opinion. And I have no qualifications. I just going based off of vibes here. But without further ado, let's get into it. First up on the list is King of Limbs. This won't be too controversial, although this is a lot of people's least favorite Radiohead record. I do genuinely enjoy a ton of the sonic qualities off of this album, but the tracks usually end up relatively dull, and this record as a whole just lacks the impact that the rest of their discography does. It's not as bad as people say, but it's not great either. This is not a popular opinion, but I do really like the track Feral, and I don't mind the opener at all. There's just a lot of forgettable stuff, and it doesn't really stick with me. And you know, I love Radiohead. This just ain't it. This just ain't it, Chief. This just ain't it. Alright, and then after King of Limbs is Amnesiac. I genuinely think some of the concepts on this album are super fucking good. They're absolutely fucking amazing, but I just wish they built into something more. There's also just huge inconsistency issues with the record that make the pacing, like, not a great listen front to back. There's a lot of dull moments in here, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. That being said, Pyramid Song is fucking amazing, and Life in a Glass House, is so good. Like, there's some key records off here or key songs off of here that I'm like, yes, this is so good, but just as a whole, it's not great, it's not great. Alright, moving on, we are now at The Bends. People really like this album, and I agree. I think this album's fucking amazing. The thing is, it is literally just an alt-rock album. That is what this is. This is a pure alt-rock album building off of Pablo Honey. And, you know, despite that, it's a damn good rock album. It's really good. It's a really good alt-rock album. I don't really think there's anything crazy or special here, especially in comparison to, like, their whole discography. But goddamn, I love the shit out of High and Dry. I love the shit out of Fake Plastic Trees. And holy fuck, My Iron Lung is beautiful. I love that shit. Also, the outro's amazing. Street Spirit Fade Out is so good. They're really good tracks. And it's very consistent. There's not any real weak points. It's just not that special to me. And I'm not the biggest fan of this kind of alt-rock. So, it doesn't really appeal to me in the way, which is why it's getting on the lower end of this thing, but there's nothing wrong with this, and I can definitely understand how so many people are liking it. I don't really feel like Sulk or the title track. I'm not a big fans of this, and there's much better Radiohead albums in their discography that they did later on, so yeah, that's my take.
Fitter, happier, more productive, comfortable, not drinking too much, regular exercise at the gym, 3 days a week.
Oh Lord, oh God, oh Lord, oh God, oh Lord, oh, I'm about to get murdered. I know I'm gonna get crucified for this take, but up next is OK Computer. For reference, I do really like this record. It has so many amazing things about it. It's pretty consistent the whole way through. I love the dystopian vibe. The desolate sound is amazing and eerie. Paranoid Android, exit music for film, Karma Police, and No Surprise, they're so fucking good. But to be honest, this album just isn't as special to me as it is to apparently most people. Like, Airbag just doesn't really hit too hard for me, nor does Electioneering or Lucky. Like, I don't know, to be honest, it probably means that there's something wrong with my fucking brain. But, despite this, I think it's a great record. It's just not my favorite, and I don't feel like I can put it any higher on this list, and especially in comparison to the rest of the records here. It's a good album. It's just, I don't know, it's not like the greatest album of all time, in my opinion. Don't kill me. Alright, the first record that's better than OK Computer. Kid A. I can tell there's gonna be a lot of people upset with this ranking too. With Kid A and OK Computer not being in the top 3 is something else. But I do love Kid A. Kid A is really, 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 really good. This was the album that made me originally fall in love with Radiohead, however fucking many years ago that was. I know that Radiohead is far from the most experimental band out there, but when I listened to Kid A for the first time, my brain went wow 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 kapow! And exploded. I was like, I never hear sound like this. Wow 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 wow. And I think this record's fucking amazing. I would say this is the first Radiohead album on this list that I personally think has no bad tracks. There's not a single track on here that I don't really enjoy. Everything in its right place and Idiotech are perfect songs in my opinions. 10 out of 10s. Amazing. Definitely my favorite 2 off the album. And How to Disappear Completely and Motion Picture Soundtrack are really, really close. And I think that this record has a really important place in their discography as a whole. It's kind of a transition point for them, so I really love this record, and I'll get into why it's not higher when I talk about the other ones. I really don't have too much bad to say about it. Alright, next up, another... We're gonna be making people even more upset here. Hail to the Thief. Well, you know, if my life wasn't already in danger with my OK Computer placement, this will put the nail in the coffin for sure. But before you do that, hear me out at least. I will admit that this record is certainly less consistent than Kid A or OK Computer, but the highs of this record are so fucking high. And to be honest, I don't think the lows are that low. I don't really mind them. Like, you start off the record, 2 + 2 = 5 is one of the best Radiohead openers of all time, if not the best Radiohead opener of all time. Sit Down, Stand Up is fire. Sail to the Moon is one of, if not my most favorite Radiohead track of all time. Admittedly, the album wanes a little bit with some of the middle tracks, but I do genuinely love We Suck Young Blood so fucking much. And I don't know why people don't like it. It doesn't have the highest ratings ever on like Album of the Year and all that stuff, and I haven't heard too many people talk about it. But I personally love that track. Myxomatosis, fire. And then finally, the album ends with Wolf at the Door, which is one of the most powerful, harrowing, beautiful, it's so good. It's such an amazing album closer. It's one of the best album closers I've ever fucking heard. Like, God, I love this song so fucking much. I love it so fucking much. Jesus Christ. Ah! It's so good. Oh, that was horrible. Ah! That was horrible again. Ah! Horrible 3 times in a row. But it's so good. I mean, there may be some weaker tracks on here. I don't blame you if it's not your favorite. But I see a lot of people sleeping on this album, and I'm sick and fucking tired of it, okay? Listen to Wolf at the Door and tell me, okay? Like, I don't know. There's a soft place in my heart. I really love this album. What's next? I hear you asking. You're wondering what's next on the list. You're wondering what comes after this. You're wondering what could possibly be better than all those other records. And I'll tell you right now. Not controversial take at all. Much less controversial than the rest of my bullshit going on lately. But this record is so fucking good. I'd argue that the highs of this record don't quite reach what Hail to the Thief does, but there are literally no bad tracks here. They're all amazing. From the very first second of 15 Step to the end of Videotape, there's absolutely 0 dull moments in this entire record. It's so good. And the album manages to get extremely personal, emotional, beautiful. The themes it explores are potent, the grooves are unparalleled. I know a lot of people think Faust Arp is one of the weaker tracks here, but I genuinely love it. It's one of my favorite tracks, and I don't have anything bad to say about this album. There are no weak tracks. It's amazing. You should listen to it, but you already have. I know you have, but it's really good. Really good. Some of Radiohead's absolute best. Drumroll. What's next? Oh my goodness, the drum roll. Alright, settle down. Next one up is not only one of the best Radiohead albums, period, but one of my all-time favorites. You guessed it, Pablo Honey. This is truly Radiohead's magnum opus. They peaked on their debut and should have retired immediately after, because you can't get much better than this. They peaked at Pablo Honey, it all went downhill. It's everything after is dog shit, okay? The Pablo Honey, mwah, beautiful. Everything else, in the garbage. Throw it away. Bad, shit, trash, awful. But yeah, I'm joking. I thought this would be very funny, to hold Pablo Honey until the very end. But, yeah, my actual opinion is that it is my least favorite of Radiohead's discography. I'd even put it below King Limbs. Like, to be honest, it's not bad. It's just a really basic 90s alternative rock album. There's not very much that makes it different or separate from other 90s alt-rock albums. I enjoy the tracks Anyone Can Play Guitar and Blow Out a bit, but overall it's just mostly mid, and for Radiohead, that's the worst. That's so my least favorite album. It's not that bad though, especially if you like the genre. It's pretty good. Okay, well, now to my actual favorite Radiohead record. If you've been keeping track of which ones I've been listening so far, you'll know what's next. But my favorite Radiohead album of all time. Path trails off and heads down the mountain through the dry bush. Holy shit! shit, do I love this record. It's absolutely transcendental with, like, it reaches this level of beauty that is unparalleled within Radiohead's discography. And, like, just in general, like, this is one of the most beautiful albums I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, holy fuck. I need a drink. Like, Jesus Christ. It's so good. The luscious strings, gorgeous piano, Tom's voice, the way the tracks build and build and build and build into these absolute sights to behold. And God, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. I love this record. I love this record. When I went back for this video and listened to their entire discography, this album was only growing on me. I listened to this, I had goosebumps the whole fucking time. I was like gonna cry. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Like, please give it a listen if you haven't already. It's their newest work. It's fucking amazing. I don't even really know what else to say. It's just so beautiful. It's not really like anything else they've done before. It's like it's very different, but very beautiful. I keep saying beautiful, but that's what it is. All the tracks work perfectly with each other. It flows amazingly. By the time you get to True Love Waits, which I think is just an absolutely perfect closer, you're already, like, so worn down by the magnificent beauty of the rest of the record that it just stabs me in the heart every fucking time. I get shanked and I'm like, oh no, it's so good. I love it so much. Amazing record. A moon-shaped pool. Amazing. Very good. Zim bow wow, it is outro town here. We're in outro town. We're in outro town, live on the scene, and before this video ends, I just like to highlight some of our Discord community members' personal lists. The general consensus from our community, having totaled up everybody's worst to bests and compiled it into one set list, the consensus for our server, very different from my own personal opinion, is number 9, Pablo Honey. Number 8, The King of Limbs. Number 7, Amnesiac. Number 6, Hail to the Thief. Number 5, The Bends. Number 4, A Moon-Shaped Pool. Number 3, In Rainbows. Number 2, Kid A. And number 1, OK Computer. That's much more in line, I think, with the general public consensus than my list, but yeah, we have people all over the place with their opinions. Some of them will be on screen. I also asked my Instagram followers, follow me on Instagram if you want, or don't. I don't give a shit. But that should also be on the screen what some of their favorite things are. And I want to just shout out everybody else's opinions in the community here and take the time to do that. Before the video is over, I would like to say big, omega, big, giant, huge thank you. The biggest thank you in the entire fucking universe to all of our amazing, lovely Patreons. And Ko-fi supporters. One of them is a Ko-fi supporter. But, we have Ethan, Youboi, and Aika, all supporting the channel, and not just the channel, but my music and all that stuff. Speaking of my music, go listen to it. It's on Spotify, it's on Bandcamp, it's on Apple Music, it's on everywhere. And huge thank yous to anyone who has supported it and my music by giving it a listen, or buying it on Bandcamp, or interacting with it in any way. It all means the world. Music is kind of my whole life, and it means more than I can fucking put into words that people are giving my stuff a chance. I hope you have the bestest day of your life ever, 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 ever. You're all the bestest. Goodbye.